Welcome friends, this is Admiral Revan here, hope you're all doing well, and today we'll be covering some devlog video updates in regarding to the most recent announcements actually, because you need to know what's going on in the World of Warships community. Most recently, the Season 18 of Clan Battles is coming out soon in preparation for 11.7. Now, as you know, that the 11.7 is also the hosting of the upcoming Puerto Rico event, and we'll be discussing about the Puerto Rico individually on its own video for itself. Now, this is a very interesting video about the 18th season for Clan Battles because it's tier 8 and 6 versus 6 format, and there's no carriers, there's no subs, hooray! But there's only one battleship per team, which is fair enough. The biggest thing that you need to be made aware of is that because it's a 6 versus 6 format, you need to have a look at the Ring, New Dawn, Islands of Ice, Trident, Loop, Haven, Presto and Alpha, the maps themselves, because each of these maps are very good. They have good positioning, tactics and everything here, and in all seriousness though, it's all about working as a team, knowing when to strike, knowing when to retreat, knowing when to attack, knowing when to ambush, and so on and so forth. Tier 8 is actually very deadly. It's also fun and engaging experience because Tier 8 is really where it tests your skills. Alright? And I really encourage you all to actually sit back, relax, and go to the train rooms right now when you get a chance with your friends and start learning the ins and outs of these maps. Because these maps, some of them were used in King of Sea, as well as Ring Championships and a few other events in the past. If a lot of clans have done this very well in the past, I'm sure you'll do well as well too. Learn from your mistakes, and definitely, while you're learning from your mistakes, turn it to your own strengths. And that is what I would encourage you to do so in this video as well. So take it as it is, and there'll be a link of this dev blog for you to check out at your own time of pace, share it with your clan mates, and take it from there. Most recently, that another article they were talking about in regarding to the super warships and other warships that are coming out in the near future. Well, in a lot of hindsight and everything going on, as of 11.6, there has been some ongoing changes that has been made as of the 27th of July. So the German supercruiser class Witz has actually got a bit of a increased reload time to 10.5 seconds. European super destroyer Delna has better increased damage to 17,500. However, the chance of landing has increased to nearly 300%. Well, to be precise, 296%. But the Spanish destroyer Alvaro de Alvaro de Banzan, the tier 10 Spanish destroyer, is going to be pretty good. I have to say it looks pretty good. Without going into detail, I can tell you this much, that this ship is going to be pretty interesting. It's going to be fun and engaging for you to play. So definitely go check it out for yourselves and see what it's all about. However, the German battleship Anhalt is a tier 8, and that one has its AP damage been reduced to 9,500. But anything that you're seeing here was subject to change, so keep that in mind. Now, the one thing about these new ships that's coming out in the near future, pretty much it's interesting how they're going to be delivered in the game. All these ships that you can see here, the top 3, the Alvaro de Banzan and also the Rio de Janeiro, as well as the Malta, will all be coal warships. And the tier 9 American cruiser Valley Joe will be also available in steel. All of them have great characteristics, all of them have great firepower, and it'll be interesting to see how they are released in the game. Definitely worthwhile checking it out. With that being said though, the split of the Hydrophone consumable has also been announced. Now, there has been a previous announcement touching based on this, and I will say that it was a bit of a interesting touch and go moment when I was being told about this, as well as many other people out there. If you're wondering, it is mentioned on the latest Puerto Rico event that's coming out soon, 11.7. But here is the details of the improvement changes on the submarines. And what they're talking about is basically touching base on the hydrophone. Now, I have to say that the hydrophone itself has been updated with the number of changes to be changed to unlimited. And in all seriousness though, it looks actually pretty good. Some of them though is the number of charges have been changed to at least one, but as you look at this very carefully, there's some nice, characteristics and features that each of the submarines will have in the near future. But please note that everything that you see in here will subject to change. With that being said though, definitely go check out the Puerto Rico live update. It's coming sooner for 11.7. I did mention it earlier that 11.7 is when the Puerto Rico comes out. With that being mentioned here, I will say that there's a separate video for the Puerto Rico for you to check out at your own time and pace. Now, the one thing that some people had been touching base with me most recently is the new format in regarding to the Armory and the Premium Shop. Now, the new descriptions that has been put in place for the warships has been done in a way to help understand the characteristics of the warships, the pros and cons of it, and make it look better. And I have to say that it's actually looks a little bit better than what it was before. If you were trying to go to the Armory right now, as you can see that you notice that there are some negative and positive green changes there and red. That actually gives you a bit of an idea what you're in for. So that's actually a very good enhancement, so you understand the general aspect of why you want to get that ship and why you don't want to. There's a lot of things that they're working through the game at this stage, and it's all coming down to updating the descriptions of the ships with the basic information without too detailed dive into the characteristics. Features will also include notable strengths and weaknesses of the ship and gameplay, and distinguish from the other ships and the same tier or type of tier, There's a couple other things that it brings you a bit of a better understanding, like certain features like repair consumables, speed boost, smoke, other things like that, sap shells, deep water torpedoes, a few things like that. It's actually pretty cool, but it actually builds a better understanding of the game as well. That's what they're trying to do, and the structure of the new format will be similar to the description on the specifics of the ship branches in the tech tree tab. Features of the ship selected in comparison to all other ships of the same type or tier, which is pretty good to know. So that's actually pretty handy. But they'll be covering over the survivability, main battery, secondary batteries, torpedoes, air defense, movement, concealment, detectability, special features of the warship as well. So it's going to be pretty good. Definitely worthwhile checking out. As you can see that in the new style of the Armory, you definitely can see a lot of cool things in there. Like for example, if I were to go to Forest Show right now, you see a whole heap of better description and everything that's in there, and it looks pretty cool. The general layout and everything that you've been brought up to date on. Alright, So there is one thing that I was brought up to speed most recently on, and a lot of people have been asking on my stream for the last 8 months or so about in regarding to one particular warship, and I will discuss it here and now. It is a coal warship and is at tier 10, and it's called the Marceau. Now, as you can see here, the Marceau is a very decent warship to get at 236,000 coal. And honestly, if you're doing the time, doing the grind to get it, it is worthwhile getting. Now, I have to admit, as one of the regular players who have been playing the game for quite some time, I have to say that I was a bit surprised that some people are thinking about spreading rumors or talks about the Marceau might be removing from the game at some point. Well, when you say when the Marceau might be removed from the game in near future, well, I'll be honest with you. This is just my opinion. It would probably make sense, it would. Now, I will say it in a different context so you understand here. The Marceau is a lovely French tier 10 fast and maneuverable warship. It is ridiculously great in the battlefield in King of the Sea as well as Spring Championships and other tournaments, where this ship has great speeds going from one side of the map to another. And I have to admit, I have seen this ship in action a fair bit. In all seriousness though, the bigger negative feature about the Marceau is the detectability, and there's no smoke generator considerable available at this point in time. If Wargaming were to make a change due to public request, is to have the option to have a smoke built into the Marceau, would have been understandable. The Marceau itself is very fast, it's very versatile, and for the ship, for its name and everything, it's definitely got great guns. The torpedo stuff is a little bit of a downside. It's basically, it's short range torpedoes, but they do some damage. Not much, but do some. The one good thing about the Marceau is that it has incredible AA defense, and the speed boost is a must-have. It's a great feature. The concealment, on the other hand, is really the biggest negativity side of things. As soon as you fire guns, and you detect it. Unless you have a DD teammate beside you, it would make sense that you got someone beside you to help with. Okay, so that is just the gist of the Marceau. But the Marceau is a fantastic warship for you to get on the battlefield, definitely for sure. And it's got some good guns in the front, some good guns in the rear. It's got 2 torpedo bays on either side for the port and starboard side of the ship. Definitely use it wisely. That's what I would recommend. But yeah, folks, I mean, like, that's just really the gist of it. But based on any possibility, if the Marseille were to be removed from the game, well, at the moment, you can't. You used to get as doubloon warship, if I remember correctly. But I looked at it very carefully now. There's no tier 10s with that ability anymore. However, there's a whole bunch of tier 10s with coal, and some of them are at a reasonable price, some of them are just a bit too expensive. But just by looking at it, the Marceau is worthwhile getting. So if you haven't got the Marceau yet, I would definitely look at the opportunity right now and just go click and buy away. So that is pretty much, if you have the resources to do it and a coupon to do it, why not? Go get the Marseille. But at least it is one ship less that you have to worry about in terms of grinding in the port as such. So in regarding to the Puerto Rico event, folks, I will discuss that in another video. And for now, we have covered the main topics, what you're after. But yeah, definitely, folks, if you want to know more about in regarding to the clan battles and stuff like that, I'm sure that Wargaming will announce that shortly. However, be sure to keep in touch with the dev blogs, because the dev blogs is the wealth of knowledge for everybody out there to keep up to date with everything that's on the game so far that's happening out there. And I'm sure that sooner or later we'll know more in the near future. Until then, stay safe, take care, my friends. It's been great catching up with you. We'll have a good one, and definitely we'll see you around in the month of August. Ciao for now. Action Stations.